Welcome back to Cybersecurity Today. I'm Emily Hashi. My next guest is the president of 3i International, and he's a best-selling author as well. Mark Elliott, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Emily. Glad we were able to get this put together. Sorry it's taken some while for me to get here, but excited to be on the show with you today.
We're very excited to have you. So before we get talking about actual cybersecurity issues, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and your company, what you do, who you serve?
Sure. So I'm the co-founder of 3i International, and we are a cybersecurity firm focused on cloud technologies. We partner with owners and executives to help them identify deficiencies in technology, and we solve them and ultimately drive efficiencies and drive down the human capital expense, and we help people make more money. But from a cybersecurity standpoint, we're very passionate about stopping cyber criminals and keeping bad things from happening to good companies, which ultimately takes a multifaceted approach with continuous improvement and monitoring because the cyber landscape is changing so quickly today. And I think when we look at the root of this issue, there's a misnomer in this industry of what a hacker is, right? I think people still associate a hacker to be somebody wearing a hoodie, drinking a Red Bull, eating Cheetos, probably still lives in their mom's house playing Xbox, right? But it's really some of the brightest minds in America that are coming out of schools like Wharton and MIT and Harvard. And granted, their morals are misdirected, but they've entered into a very lucrative industry. Because long gone are the days of the king of Zaire who sends you an email saying he wants to give you $5 million, but you need to send your bank routing information. You know, we don't see cryptic emails coming from third world countries anymore that people know not to click on. The majority of these crimes are being originated here in North America. It's organized crime in the United States, it's the cartels of Mexico, and they both realize that it is easier to be in cyber warfare than to get cocaine or bodies over the border. And the messaging that is being sent out today from a graphic standpoint, from a believability standpoint, is so real that end users are clicking on it at a rate of about 80,000 people a day.
Wow, that's incredible.
And without proper education, there's no way to be able to protect yourself from the viruses and the ransomware that is proliferating in this market out there today. And something that's interesting is that cybersecurity trends estimates that by 2023, ransomware will be a $6 trillion industry. It's one of the largest economies on a global basis. So today, companies have got to be vigilant to protect themselves, not only from a technology standpoint, but with policies and procedures in end-user education. For our viewers that are out there that are still trying to wrap their hands around cybersecurity, we have published a very easy-to-read guide that walks people through the baseline of what cybersecurity is, how hackers are hacking, the aftermaths of an attack, and most importantly, how you can proactively be able to defend and protect not only your company, but your data from cyber attacks.
That's great. So if you had a piece of advice to give to people who are watching about cybersecurity right now, what advice would you give them? What is the one thing or the two things that they can do right now to protect themselves and their data and their businesses?
You know, I think that when you look at companies out there, taking this multifaceted approach is very important. And I think most companies have an acute understanding of this, and they've moved forward with this. But you can spend tens of millions of dollars in security, and if a hacker can get one employee to click, they have undermined that entire solution of a business. Bloomberg recently stated that 97% of all Fortune 500 companies are currently compromised.
97%?
97%. And the other 3%, due to compliance reasons, don't want to admit it or don't have the technology to know.
So it's basically everybody.
Absolutely. So now the focus of the hackers has shifted to the small and medium enterprises, which is going to be that sub 1,000 employee space. You couple that with the fact that 6% of global data loss can be tied to catastrophic events. The majority of data loss and breaches are tied to human error, a good employee without malice intent that clicks on the wrong link. You couple that with the fact that 39% of all malware is ransomware and 87% of breaches take less than 1 minute. It only takes one employee to cause a breach. One employee, 1 minute. 1 minute. And so really when you look at cybersecurity, employees have become the soft underbelly of an organization, and it's where we have got to invest into our employees. I think the days of cybersecurity awareness training only being with Fortune 500 companies, was a luxury for them that has to be implemented by small and medium enterprise today. And in order to help companies bridge this chasm and reduce the risk of their employees and really be able to turn them into a human firewall that's constantly protecting their environment, we have developed a ransomware survival kit that we want to be able to give to the viewers today. And in this survival kit, it includes oversized posters that we want to ship to you that you can put into your break room. That's much like an OSHA poster that you would have up that would have awareness messaging around cybersecurity. We will also send out screensavers that can be deployed on all of the computers of the employees that matches as the messaging in the break room. And then also, we have been granted several $millions to be able to give away an employee cyber education training platform that will help take your employees through this curriculum in order to be able to protect your organization. And the last piece of this survival kit is that we are going to give you a voucher that during the right timing and with your permission, our organization is going to hack you guys through email, through voicemail, through SMS or texting, through social media, or maybe even with USB baiting. And from here, we're going to give you a vulnerability report that'll show you what curriculum that you need to push towards your employees in order to protect your company.
That's so incredibly helpful, this notion of getting this vulnerability report, knowing exactly where you stand in terms of your own cybersecurity and what your employees are doing and how they're doing it and how they're responding to threats and emails that come in, because it is coming from every direction. Do you see anything new coming down the pike? Do you see future trends in cyber threats? Are the hackers out there trying new things now?
I believe as long as we have hackers and we have employees where there's going to be human error, we are going to have a systemic cybersecurity issue. Now, I think that there's something that's creating a false sense of urgency for owners and executives that I think that's very alarming that people want to know. And I think that regulation is not too far in the distant future for the IT support industries. This regulation is going to close the doors of so many small IT support companies and medium-sized IT support companies, and it is going to drive up the cost for the end users that are buying these services. And the reason why for business owners and executives is so alarming. So one of the veins that we've been talking about in this interview is that cybersecurity has to be a multifaceted approach. Well, that last layer is cybersecurity insurance. So if we go back to 2017, there was a ransomware that was launched called NoPeta. It was attributed to causing over $10 billion in commercial losses out there for businesses. FedEx was one of those companies. They noted that they lost over $400 million. And they had cyber insurance in place, right? Which is that last line of defense in order to cover, anything catastrophic, the damages and the financial repercussions. So they should be okay, right? No. In 2018, 1 year after the event, our government identified that this ransomware came out of servers in Russia. The insurance companies used this, and this was recently validated in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, several other publications, that the insurance company said it was an act of war, and they're not paying out on the claim anymore. So what companies today have used as their last line of defense, insurance, is being washed from the table. And the suits that are spinning from this are going to cause reform and regulation that in the end is going to cause companies to be responsible for their own actions and ultimately responsible for the repercussions of not being diligent when it comes to cybersecurity, which brings me back to the weakest link that we have in our companies. It's our employees. We have to train them. And if there's one thing that I can encourage our users to do is that after you finish watching this, go take a look at our ransomware survival kit, because I believe that is the first step in protecting your company.
This is great. This is so fascinating. I wish we had more time to talk, but we are out of time. How can people get in touch with you? How can they learn more about you and your company, get the survival kit, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. So we are very easy to find on the web, 3i-intl.com. On the homepage of our website, you can find the guide that I referenced, and then not published to the public, but if you go to our URL /survival kit, you will be able to find the ransomware survival kit, and we've been more than happy to invest that in your organization.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you.
Thanks for having me, Emily.
And we will be right back after this message.